Yo, what is up? What is up? It's me, Keen. We're back. We're in the building with another episode of Line in the Sands. Nick was here. He probably have technical difficulties to be back up, but I got my guy, Brett Gardy 3. What is going on, Brett?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
Let's get it. A lot of stuff has went down since we've been on, but we're going to go over all 3 pay-per-views. What up, Nick?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. A lot of stuff is going down. We're going to go over both AEW's All In and All Out. Recap that. We're going to recap Payback. Get y'all thoughts about that. Some topics. CM Punk, again, of course, that is the number one thing on the agenda. Tony Khan finally grew some balls and fired CM Punk. Didn't think that was going to happen, but it did. Seeing that come through, I was like, oh, wow. Thought it was fake, but it wasn't. Brett, your thoughts on CM Punk getting canned?
I think it just goes to show that not everything that happens backstage is a work. That's all I ever heard with CM Punk on all these fights with Brawl Out and now Jack Perry. It's like, oh, guys, it's just a work. They're all planning something bigger. But no, it's unfortunate, really. I think the one that really hurts the most is the fans, because I think CM Punk was really enjoyable. The fans loved him. He moved a lot of merch. And what I thought Punk brought to the table for AEW in terms of in-ring action was different. He was more methodical. He told the story in the ring. It wasn't a spot fest like we're used to seeing on AEW. But at the end of the day, Tony Khan made the right call. You can't lunge at your boss and threaten him and expect nothing to happen. And combine the fact that he had issues with Jack Perry, the Elite, and now that came out that he even had an issue with William Regal. Like, there's just so much issues and drama, and it's unfortunate. I was so excited to see Punk back. I was there when he returned. I was excited, and now it's all gone, and he went out in a blaze of glory.
All right, Nick, your thoughts on CM Punk getting fired?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected it. I mean, I guess I can understand it. Whenever I got the news, I was golfing and I looked at my phone and I saw it and it popped up and I was like, what? Like, this can't be legit. And then I'm like looking in like Bleacher Report and Score, and then Twitter, of course, was blowing up and everything. Yeah, I mean, like Brett said, just kind of, I guess Tony finally had the last straw to say that he felt threatened for his life or whatever, however he said it, for the first time ever when he was at a wrestling show and producing and all that stuff. I mean, to do it right before the Chicago show and All Out, I mean, that does suck for the fans. Sucks for Punk. I mean, what's he going to do next? I saw a report saying a return to WWE could be a big possibility. It's up to Nick Khan, not Triple H, and that his relationship with Endeavor and UFC is still in good standing. So it could be a big possibility for him to return. And I know that it's like kind of 50-50 with like who wants him back and who doesn't want him back. And I don't know. I'd like to see him come back just for that, like to see what he would say whenever he comes back to the other side after what he went over there and did and said. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it if I want him back or not. But I think it's all. I mean, Punk is going to be Punk. So
it's already going around. We all know Survivor Series is going to be in Chicago.
Yep.
And I'm already seeing this.
Yep. That didn't take long. That didn't take long.
So whether or not he comes back in WWE or not, I mean, I just felt like he's burnt bridges in there too. We definitely have to see. I mean, I guess the WWE universe would allow CM Punk to come back in. He whether you love him or hate him, he still is a good performer, still is a good wrestler. DTS is still one of my favorite moves. I use that as a finisher on the game for my creative character. So DTS is still a good popular move to use. CM Punk is still a performer. It just sucks though, because right before I couldn't wait until after All Out to say, okay, he's booted. He was in Chicago. I would have just waited. The crowd booed him on a TK on Collision. He feared for his life. Everything else. Apparently, CM Punk charged that TK. That's why he decided to cut him. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So, got some comments here real quick. Got Daniel Berry, appreciate you. Kyle says, if he comes back to WWE, who would feud with him? Chris, never say never. Rollins versus Punk definitely would be interesting. And TK is a joke. It's your thoughts on maybe Punk versus Rollins or even Roman versus Punk?
Those would be my top two. AJ Styles.
I was going to say, I wanted to address Chris's comment because I think he's right. I think TK so far he's been trying too hard to be friends with all of his wrestlers instead of their boss. Yep. This would have never happened under Vince. You might be friends with Vince, but Vince is going to put business first. He'll put you in your place real quick.
Yeah.
Tony Khan's giving everybody preferential treatment if you're his friend. So as far as CM Punk in WWE, if he came back, I think a low-key underrated feud would be CM Punk versus The Miz. Quite frankly, I think their mic work would be phenomenal, and there is past beef there with Punk and him so that they can build on.
LA Knight and Punk.
Ooh, LA Knight and Punk would be good. I'm low key. I love CM Punk's theme music. So when I hear it, and then the crowd goes, and I've seen it in person. It is amazing. So I just like the call of personality.
I just think CM Punk's done. I don't think he comes back to WWE. I think he's just going to end up staying away from wrestling altogether at this point.
Now the Jags are beltless.
What happens if the Jags win the Super Bowl?
They don't get no belt. They got to get there. They got to make their own.
AEW
belt.
But AEW doesn't do side plates. That's the whole reason why WWE does the custom belt to the teams that win the championships, because they can make the side plates with the logos for the teams that win.
That is funny. They was like, "Oh, the Jags belts are sold out." They're not sold out.
They never existed.
Didn't want them. But definitely, I think like Brett said, I think CM Punk, I don't think he goes anywhere. Impact, that's the only promotion he didn't mess up. So I mean, why not? But CM Punk, I don't think he comes back and wrestles. He goes with live happy ever after AJ and call it a day.
He'll go back to the UFC.
Oh, he sucked there too. Oh my God, that last fight, he got rocked.
I saw a meme that said it was I sent it, the Punk saying, they make fun of me when I'm 0-2 in the UFC, but no one ever talks about how I'm 2-0 in the AEW locker room. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
That's a good one. But I don't know. We'll see what Mr. Brooks does. Take some time off. Maybe he need to think about his mistakes and what he done. I mean, if he really wants to do wrestling again, he has to, do some forgiving, or at least acknowledge, take accountability for some stuff. If it depends on really he wants to go. So I don't know. But let's get into. There was no other storylines, headlines that broke out. That was like the major waves. But let's get into what was first. Payback was first. Payback. Payback was actually not bad. I mean, the build up sucked, but the show was pretty dang on good. So we're gonna go over what happened and segue in some segments there as well. So the match opened up with Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch in the cage. And the cage, of course, is to keep people out, but of course it don't keep nobody out. We all knew Zoe Stark was going to get involved in this match, and it backfired on Trish Stratus. Uh, Trish ended up losing, and Becky Lynch gets the 1, 2, 3. And then we see Trish and Zoe Stark go at it. The thank you Trish is at the end. I think we see I think will be done. There was a picture of her I seen that she was all beat up and bruised. Can't say wrestling ain't fake because she had a bruise here on her forehead. She was all. I mean, she was bruised. Y'all thoughts on the Becky Lynch and Trish match, Brett?
I thought it was phenomenal, honestly. If that was Trish Stratus's last match, I don't think they could have done it any better. I'll say you had a banger of a match with Becky Lynch. You made a star out of Zoe Starks or a potential new star. I guess we'll see where that goes. But I thought it was a really fun match. She took some really gnarly bumps, so credit to her. She didn't need to do all that, but she did her best to elevate Becky even more and get over Zoe Starks in the end. I really loved what they did with that match.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, great opener match. Whenever I saw that they were lowering the cage before it started, to start that off, I mean, it made sense. Get the crowd really going. I mean, the Pittsburgh crowd, they usually start out slow. I saw some comments on Facebook that people weren't happy with the crowd being in. I mean, that's just a group from that hates Pittsburgh, but I mean, if I was thinking like the crowd aspect, if it was at Hershey, oh my gosh, they would have been going nuts from the very beginning. Because I was in SmackDown on Friday, but I mean Becky getting the win, and then Trish turning on Zoe, or Zoe turning on Trish. It was a good way to end it. If it, like you said, if it is her final match, I mean that was her first steel cage match. But now Becky's gonna make her way to NXT, as that just was announced on NXT next week. It's going to be Tiff Stratton and Becky in the main event for the women's title. And then Zoe Stark and Shayna, they already had a match on Raw, and it was a great match. But yeah, I mean, good first match for sure.
I did see that with Shayna Baszler. She was like, "Oh, I can say you was better than Ronda." Yo, I died. She said that. She was like, "Oh, at least she's better than Ronda." So at least she got her respect there. Does this prove that the women's division don't got no direction? If you putting Becky Lynch down in NXT, is that to put Stratton over? Or I know that's the title she hasn't won yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they trying to put that on, or they trying to do what she did with Charlotte, how Charlotte went back down. I don't know. Y'all thoughts on Becky going after the women's title in NXT?
I really think that only good's going to come from that, because you do one of two things. If you put the title on Becky and give her a good title reign, I think it elevates the title, and then whoever beats Becky, you can make a nice new star out of that. Or you can put Stratton over and make Stratton an even bigger star. So either way, I don't really see this going bad. I think this is only a good thing that she's going after the NXT title, because now it makes the NXT women's title just feel that much more important.
Yeah, I being that's the title Becky's never won. I mean, what else does she have left to do in the WWE? Like she said, it's the only title she hasn't won in the company. Be a big way to make the title bigger. And they could also do it, as I saw another report that the NXT titles, they could get another switch up and a revamp to get away from the NXT 2.0 titles. And if Becky wins, then she could introduce a new title and drop it right back to Tiffany, like when Dolph won it and then dropped it again. You could just do it to, like you said, put Tiffany over, and then they could do 2 matches. Becky could get the win in the second one, where it's a non-title match, and then win it in the third one just to prolong that feud, and then finally have a run at the NXT Women's title.
mean, it's definitely interesting because I don't know what's left for Becky. Like you said, get that title that she's never won in NXT, or to possibly put another younger superstar over, kind of like in a passing the torch scenario. Because we didn't see her fight Charlotte many a times, Bailey, Bianca, Asuka. Who is left? Who's left? Nobody. I thought maybe we'd have saw. She fought Becky Stark. She fought Zoe Stark. She already fought her. She did Trish. Lita was her tag team partner. What else is for Becky to do? Nothing.
Raquel.
Heard rumors that they re-signed Nia Jax.
Oh God. I hope she cleared up her wrestling skills because she's gonna be hurting more people. But that is good to see. See what she does. Either she's gonna win it or put her over. But that would be good as well. But Becky Lynch did win the steel cage match. Good opening match. The next match that happened after that was The Miz and LA Knight. Then all of a sudden, John Cena was the special guest referee. Cena's back for a month or so, because he don't have nothing else to do. And I guess Vince, well, I'm sure it probably was a Vince move because I don't think Triple H would have said anything. They probably need some ratings. So who do? You call back Cena. I don't know why they inserted Cena in this match. I feel like it was good without him. But anyway, LA Knight versus The Miz. John Cena, special guest referee. LA Knight wins this match. Some near fall distractions that wasn't necessary. Cena tried to go by the book, stuff like that. Miz did take a while to get in there. He didn't want to get in there. But we all knew LA Knight was going to win. But the promos leading up to this match was fire. So shout out to Miz, and they definitely know how to cut a promo, especially LA Knight, especially on that tribute to Bray. And he was like, run. That was that. I got goosebumps when he said that. But talk about this match, Nick.
I mean, this was probably the best built match leading up to the pay-per-view. Friday night at SmackDown when both The Miz and LA Knight came out. I mean, the arena was electric. I was up in the upper section, and I swear the roof was shaking. LA Knight's pop was awesome, and then even going after leaving the arena and everything. It was a good match. Good. The Miz is doing what he does and getting in there and just helping put people over. Not that LA Knight needs the help, but just being one of the stepping stones to say LA Knight beat The Miz, being a legend that he is. But I thought it was a great match. I enjoyed it. And the Cena thing, could have lived with it, could have lived without it. So it was just cool to see him and Miz have that little promo beforehand. It was kind of humorous a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the match.
Brett.
So I really do like LA Knight. I think his mic skills are phenomenal. I think he's a very entertaining character. He's got all the charisma in the world. But his matches almost put me to sleep. I'm not a big fan of LA Knight matches. There's just something. They're methodical, but they're almost too methodical. Like, I get it. He works at a slower pace. He wants to tell a story, but it just seems like his matches take a little too long to develop for me. I'm not a big LA Knight fan when it comes to in-ring work. So overall, I actually was pretty bored by this match, but I think it served its purpose. I got LA Knight even more over, teased a future feud with Cena. LA Knight and Cena on the mic is going to be electric if they do go that route, and I think it would be a fun route to go. So I'm excited to see what they do next with LA Knight. I just really want to see his in-ring work just kind of pick up a little bit.
That would be slow. We all know Cena getting up there in age. Lord have mercy. But no, that definitely would be interesting. You see at the end, when they were going up to the ramp, LA Knight was talking his smack. Cena extended his hand. He was like, "Oh, you want to be my friend now?" He was like, "It ain't about being your friend. It's about respect." So that was the sign of, hey, you did, passing that. So you never know. Might be Cena next. It could be The Miz again. The Miz did challenge him again. I don't know what's gonna happen. So, but good build up. Both promos, both Miz and LA Knight can talk on the mic. So it's always good to see that they can. The mic skills is great. We had the United States Championship. We had Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory, which we all knew Rey was going to win. Nothing too much to talk about in this match. This is a bathroom break match. Yeah, nothing spectacular. Ray went clean.
I'll give Rey Mysterio credit, though. I think he's going to be 108. He'll still be able to move and fly around the ring. Like, that dude just doesn't age at all.
Not 108. This was match of the night for me. I'm sorry. Tag team titles. KO and Sammy versus Finn Balor in the Steel Street fight, whatever you want to call it. This is the fight that did Terry Funk proud, because that what they did on Thursday or last Friday was no hardcore match. This was a hardcore match. We seen kendo sticks, we seen chairs, we seen ladders, we seen everything. KO busted open. They're in Pittsburgh. They broke out the hockey sticks in the Pittsburgh Penguin jerseys. I'm like, oh, Lemieux and Crybaby Crosby is out. Okay. Everybody in the Judgment Day came. It was just an outnumbers game. But two spots of the night for me. Swanton off wherever KO was on in the crowd.
The upper barricade there.
And Rhea Ripley with that spear. That spear was clean.
Yep.
It was clean. It looked like she was playing football. All she needed was a helmet. It was a good tackle. It was like spot on. Like she hit him right in the shoulder. Boom. So, but we got new tag team champions, and Judgment Day has all the gold now. So Judgment Day is the cure factor on Raw, since the bloodline is slowly diminishing but taking their break. So now the Judgment Day is your dominant factor, and they have all the gold. Was this the right decision to drop the titles to Judgment Day? Right?
No, I think it was. I loved Sammy and KO, and I think their title reign was fun. But I think Judgment Day's story just is a lot more interesting, and I think adding the tag team titles into the picture just it adds more to it. I thought this was the best match of the night as well. It kind of gave me like an old school ECW street fight vibe, with the way they were going all around the arena, camera work. I was really worried on KO on that Swanton spot, though. He looked like he missed the table. I thought he just landed straight on the concrete almost. I was like, oh. But I'm glad to see he was okay. And overall, this was a lot of fun match. Did you guys see what Rhea tweeted out before the show started, by the way?
No, what'd she say?
I saw it.
Judgment Day was on the seats, the collector seats that you can take home, and she tweeted out, "Congratulations to the lucky people who get to sit on my face tonight."
I can't. That match definitely did have an ECW feel. I did the watch party, and I definitely did bring out my inner Joey Styles when KO hit that swanton. Oh my God! So I was bringing back the Joey Styles. But no, this match was great. Judgment Day got gold. It was just, I was just shocked. But I heard that KO still is not fully hurt. Injured. Fully healed, and KO still dealing. Sammy's still dealing with a staph infection. So I think that's probably why they dropped them. But who's going to take them? That is going to be interesting. I've been hearing rumors. Possibly DIY can get back together. That would be great. Bring Gargano and bring Ciampa back together. That would be awesome. Or even maybe the Street Profits will probably take them off and they are, together with Bobby Lashley. But Nick, your thoughts on, did they make the right decision on dropping the belts to them?
Yeah, absolutely. The Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they did great, building up to Mania, that whole thing with the bloodline. It was awesome. But once they got the titles, it was just like, what's next? They just beat the best tag team WWE has, and now who are they going to beat? Who are they going to face every single week? Oh, let's just throw Cody in and make it make six-man tag matches. Oh, who cares? Oh, okay. The main event of Raw is Sammy Sammy, Cody, and Kevin against the Judgment Day for 8 weeks in a row. Great. The street fight, the Steel City, the Penguins jerseys, I loved it. Loved every second of it. The only thing I didn't like was when Finn took the terrible towel and was stepping on it.
He stepped on the terrible towels.
He'll get his for it. We've seen that happen before when a Bengals player did that. He'll get his for it. Finn became a Grand Slam champion with the win, so that was pretty cool. The spear by Rhea, great. And Swanton, awesome. And I mean, it was a good, definitely probably my match of the night as well.
See, Sami Zayn has some highlights to his blue bombs into the corner, the Helula kicks. They did I thought they was gonna do the concerto, but they did the kendo sticks. It was just crazy. Dom came in. JD took the brunt of some stuff, so it just seemed like JD is like the punching bag for him. Like, no, I got y'all. Y'all don't gotta worry about getting hit because he told last night. He told Dom to go. He'll handle it. And Dom was like, all right, say less. And he flew. He was out of there. But
Dom was going back to mommy.
Cody looks like Mr. Joshua Lethal Weapon. But we had so the next one was the Waller effect with Cody Rhodes. And he was on there. Cody Rhodes about to say, "Oh, what we going to talk about?" And Grayson was like, "Nope, let me interfere. That we ain't gonna talk about nothing." And all of a sudden, you hear some music hit. That's Jey Uso. We like, what the hell? Jey Uso's back. Did not expect that. So it looks like we're going to get some type of trade.
Yep.
I feel like Cody's going to go to SmackDown to finish the story, and Jey is going to be on Raw. Jimmy's going to be on Raw because they're going to separate. Jimmy got his own music. Don't know what's going on with Jimmy. Looks like he wants to be back with the bloodline, but he doesn't. He want to hang on with Solo. Heyman's like, no, don't beat up Jimmy. So we don't know what's going on, but they're going to keep them separate until WrestleMania for them to come back together, or possibly War Games. So, but Jey had the crowd rocking. Pittsburgh was hyped when Jey came out. But your thoughts on Jey coming to Raw?
I like it. I mean, it gives him a chance to, again, be by himself, Jimmy to be by himself at the same time, not one of them having to be hurt to do this. The trade, I think, is a good idea, even though like they threw the draft right out the window by week 2 after it was done. So, I mean, what does this really accomplish with it being a trade? I don't know if it's going to be Cody or if it's going to be someone else. It definitely would be a way for him to finish the story going right to SmackDown. But then if he goes to the SmackDown, he would instantly be 1 or 2 in the babyface. So what do you do with LA Knight? So that's why I kind of think it might not be Cody. But yeah, that the announcement from Cody that doing it that way was pretty cool. But I like it.
I like it too. I think it's perfect him going to Raw, keep him separate from Jimmy. I think the only thing I really didn't necessarily like about it is, let me use a different event that happened in the past to kind of make a point. In 2011, when CM Punk won the WWE title and walked out of WWE only to show up 2 weeks later, I thought they should have kept him out longer. Kind of same thing with Jey. Yeah. I almost thought they should have just kept him out for a nice longer stretch of time and then bring him back, maybe have him cost Jimmy a match down the line or a title match, get the feud going that way. And I feel like the return would have been more impactful. This one definitely had a shock factor, though, and I really liked the stories they were building up with the Raw roster, like McIntyre and Riddle not trusting him at all, and Sammy trying to play peacemaker. So I do like the story. I do like where they're going with it. I just think that I would have held them out a little longer, honestly.
So who's the next feud for Jey now? Who did you make him fight? Do you try to put a belt on him? What's next?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think there's a lot of really great options for that one. They're already planting the seeds almost for, it looks like, a Jey and Drew McIntyre feud. Maybe have Jey beat some people up for a couple weeks and then start a feud with him and McIntyre. That would be a really good one. Kind of establish the Drew McIntyre heel turn. So I think that would be a good place to start.
Yeah. That the like you said, the Jey coming back and really only being accepted back by Sammy, and then him playing peacemaker with Riddle and Drew and everyone else he got the eyes from. Besides Dom tried to, be the good guy that he is and go over and accept him in and let him know the Judgment Day is there for him. But I mean, yeah, it would be. I saw somewhat big reports out that people are already wanting Jay to be the one to beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title. um, I mean, Chad Gable and him, they had a great match, but I mean, it would kind of suck just to give Gable his moment and then all of a sudden just forget about him and then go right into Jey Uso after he does the McIntyre thing and maybe a Riddle and whoever else. But I mean, yeah, Drew, McIntyre, and Jay would probably be the way to go for me.
That's definitely gonna be interesting. We're gonna talk about Gunther too, who's his next title reign and what he should do next. But Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez for it. This match was I feel like this match should have went and then the tag and then the main event. So because you gotta go after that match. they did it backwards. Like this crowd was quiet for this match. Not even gonna hold you. This match was slow. I mean, it did pick up a little bit, but she got Raquel in the Riptide, and Rhea Ripley retains. But nothing to talk about this match. Nothing to talk about. Then we got Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura for your heavyweight title. This wasn't a bad match. Did go back and forth, but Nakamura couldn't get it done. Seth ends up winning. Nakamura attacks Seth after Payback went off the air, and then we seen that exclusive that he did get a hit. Now, do they drop the title because Seth in his back? How long do you let Seth hold it? I don't want to see this match again. I don't want to see Nakamura fight Seth again. I don't want to see it again. I don't know if they're teasing it again for Fastlane, but who do you want to see Seth fight next, and do y'all have him drop it?
It seems like they already made it clear what's next. It's going to be Seth and Nakamura. I wouldn't drop it to Nakamura. I think the right choice would almost be he drops it to a Damian Priest cash-in. That's the route I would go, and then that adds even more dissension within the Judgment Day. Finn gets jealous of him, and they eventually leads to him getting kicked out. But honestly, that's the route I would go. Have him feud. You can have him feud with Shinsuke again, but ultimately, I would have him lose to a Damian Priest cash-in.
Yeah, I do like that. I definitely don't want to see the Shinsuke rematch again. I'm not a fan of him. This whole doing his promos in Japanese, I just sit there and I'm scrolling on my phone, and then when I hear Seth talk, I pop my head back up. But I mean, the Seth and Shinsuke at Fastlane say give it a stipulation, and then have the cash in with Damian be where Seth is, his back is hurting him, kind of like when Bianca had the knee injury, and then Seth won't be the one to take the pinfall, but he's going to be out because of his back or whatever. And then it can still keep him strong for when he comes back. He can say, okay, I didn't lose the title. I wasn't involved in the pinfall or whatever. But then you can do the Judgment Day then as when Seth is, gone. But I mean, yeah, the cash in I think should be soon.
About to say, Nakamura did have the intro with the comic book. That was kind of cool. I did like that. But no, I see a cash in because I don't see anybody else possibly to hold that. Priest, I feel like we all know he's going to get booted out for, because JD's done this there. We all know he's going to get booted out. Will it cost them the tag team titles, though? If they lose them to either Street Profits or Imperium, or even if they get Gargano and Ciampa back, I think somehow they, Finn and Priest are not going to be in the same space. They're going to be all mad at each other. Like you said, Finn's going to get jealous. I think that's going to cause them to lose their tag team titles, and then eventually them two are going to fight. Do you think Finn will get the belt back eventually?
At this point, I kind of don't. I feel like if they were going to put it on Finn, they would have done it by now. Finn's not getting any younger. I would love to see a Finn title reign, but I'm just not confident that WWE believes in Finn Balor enough to put the title on him at this point. or at least their main title. I could see them maybe giving him like another Intercontinental title run. They trust him enough with a tag team run, but with the big belt, it just doesn't seem to have enough faith in Finn Balor to give him a run like that.
I mean, I would be okay with it if that was the way they would go. I mean, then you could kind of have Damian with Dom in his corner, Dom and Rhea stay together, and then JD and Finn could still be a factor, and they could prolong that feud with the tag matches and then one-on-ones and all that stuff. But eventually, like a Damian and Finn I think that would be a great match. Even if the title is not on the line, if like Damian wins the cash in and then loses it to whoever within that span of time, it could be Finn cost him the title, and then go that way with the feud and the breaking of the Judgment Day, and they could do it kind of how the Bloodline unfolded and all that, since they're the Bloodline 2.0 essentially, with the new locker room segments that they're getting and all that. So
it's definitely going to be interesting to watch now to see where Judgment Day goes. Before we get into AEW, Gunther and Chad Gable had the Intercontinental title match on Raw, and Gunther retains, making him the longest reigning Intercontinental champion. Now, do you decide to drop the title to someone, the IC title to someone, or do you let Gunther go to Rumble, have him win the Rumble, have him have two belts, go after whoever wants to go after? He'll have the IC, he'll have the championship. Could that happen? Or what is next for Gunther? That is the main question. Nick, who you think? Or what's going to happen?
I could see it holding the IC title up until the Rumble, winning the Rumble, and then that. I mean, I guess that would be the plan if Cody is the one traded to SmackDown, and then he could just immediately do that and go Cody and Roman for Mania, and then Gunther would have no choice but to choose Seth if he were the one to win. And then you could do like a title for title at Mania, and then it could be a really big fight feel for that match. And I think it'd be a great match, Rollins and Gunther. And then, I mean, if that's whenever Seth wants to take time off for his back, then that would be the way to go.
I would say I agree. I don't mind them going either way with this. I'm kind of wary at this point about them trying to put two titles on Gunther, just because I don't want to see a situation where the Intercontinental title falls to the wayside for the World Heavyweight title. So I'm almost thinking that maybe you have Gunther lose it at the Rumble, then have him enter the Rumble and win it. That way it makes him look like a real Iron Man and almost adds to it. I say you bring up somebody from NXT, you bring up somebody young, give him a major rub. Maybe like a Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, or even if it was Chad Gable working his way back into the picture, give him a final chance at the Rumble to win the title. But if he loses, he can't challenge for it as long as Gunther's champion, then have him win. Like, I think there's many ways you can go. I think those would be my top three to take the title from him. But I think you drop it before Mania just because I don't want to see – he's put in a lot of work to that title, so I don't want to see it fall to the wayside.
And I knew they was going to have him wait to break the record because they did it with Roman. WWE likes people breaking records. They did it with Roman, and they're going to do it. They did it with the Honky Tonk Man. So Gunther is your longest reigning Intercontinental title holder. Nobody is going to hold them ever again. Same with Roman. Nobody's going to hold that title as long as he did. But yeah, Gunther, that's another hot. If it's done right, it should be good. What else happened? That was really it. I didn't really watch Raw, but I know that was the match that I did see at the end. We seen Sammy and Jay make up. Yeah. So all in Wembley was crazy. It was pretty good. Which y'all like better, All In or All Out?
All In.
All In was definitely the better pay per view. I'm almost tempted to say All Out, but that's because I was there. So, but I'm gonna have to go with All In.
All right, so All In was in Wembley, and it did good numbers there in Wembley, and they already announced that they're going to be there again next year. So I'm waiting for WWE to say, "All right, WrestleMania, let's go to Wembley," because I know it probably would do good there. Let me find a recap here.
I think the only issue with WrestleMania at Wembley is are you cool with having WrestleMania go on at like noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the United States time? A lot
I
of
mean,
people might be.
I'm not mad at that. I feel like it won't be all dang on day. Um, I mean, it'll be what 9 hours. So I don't know if they will have I don't 2 days like they do over here in the states. I mean, it could be good. Where is the thingy? Okay, here we go. That's All Out. I went All In. You know what? Screw it. Since I'm here, All Out. All right, so we got All Out, and this was in Chicago, and this was right after CM Punk got canned. So it was 0 hour. Did you see everything right? Even 0 hour?
I got there a little after 0 hour. That Chicago traffic is a nightmare to navigate. But I did see Dennis Rodman. That's all that matters.
Yeah. All right, so on the main card, let's see, I think the 0 hour was they claimed the Daddy Ass versus Jarrett and Lethal. All right, so we have the Better Than Baby versus Dark Order for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. And of course, MJF and Adam Cole retains. Your thoughts on this match?
I'll say I've never seen a crowd get so hyped up for something called the kangaroo kick, but it was a lot of fun. That was definitely a fun match. It was entertaining. The MJF spot, he got taken out. It made sense to me because nobody really bought the Dark Order as a believable threat. But if you make it 2v1, then maybe. So I thought that was a really, really good spot to add in there. Overall, it was definitely a fun match. I still can't believe how it's crazy how just this team just got thrown together and now they're the most overact in almost all of wrestling. They're right up there with everybody. The pop for the double clothesline was absolutely insane. This was a really fun match.
I mean, like you going off, also adding to the making them a bigger threat. This kind of gives like the MJF like a real babyface type feel. I love that he did the Cody walk whenever he came back out, and he's demanding that he's going back out there. And then the ending of it was great. And then as they were walking back, the shove from Samoa Joe that to throw back when the NXT moment and all that stuff. And then them going at it in the ring on the pay-per-view. I thought that was great. And it was a good kickoff match.
Side, I know there's Collision. Maybe that's what you're thinking about. NXT, AEW, Raw, SmackDown. I mean Collision. I'm really not going to talk about Collision, but
I was like Collision on Rampage.
Rampage. So we have Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor for the RH TV title. I mean, that wasn't a bad match from what I saw. Samoa Joe retains. Any thoughts about that match?
It was a good old-fashioned hoss fight. No flips, just fists. It was a nice change of direction from a lot of what you saw on the card. So I definitely didn't mind it.
All right, then we got Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. Looks like Luchasaurus retains. This match is okay as well. You know, Darby going high flying his matches. Y'all thoughts on this match?
I don't know if y'all caught the press conference after with Christian being an absolute menace again. He sits down, first thing he asks, how's everybody's father doing today? The turtleneck Christian is probably like the biggest menace to society that we've seen in a while since like Legend Killer Randy Orton. But Overall, I really love this Luchasaurus and Christian team. It is one of the most entertaining things on television. Christian has totally sold me as a heel. Anytime he picks up a microphone, I'm looking forward to what's going to come out. And the match was a lot of fun. I'm really worried about Darby. I really hope that he starts to tone down his style a little bit so he can wrestle later into life. Because man, those bumps he takes are just gnarly. He just throws himself all over the place, and I'm worried that's going to catch up to him, honestly. But overall, this match it was fine. It was fun.
Didn't they? If I'm not mistaken, didn't they ask Christian about Edge?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. He said he goes, I only talk about myself and Luchasaurus, and my only friend is Luchasaurus. Yeah. The same thing with Darby. The reports about his back and everything, and his quote was, "As long as I can touch my toes, I'm good to go." And then, seeing the week before taking the coffin drop onto a metal coffin and then getting stepped on the steps by Luchasaurus, who's almost 300 pounds. I was like, okay, this is man, Darby loves what he does. But yeah, I enjoyed the match for what it was, and the whole Luchasaurus and being the one that wrestles for the TNT title, but then Christian is the face of the TNT title and the mouthpiece. I don't know, I kind of dig it. Like you said about the heel, and then the father comment, and also he said that he re-signed with AEW. He said Tony gave him a big fat check and he earned every penny of it.
Oh boy. So Christian is living up to that heel role. You got Powerhouse Hobbs versus Miro. Miro wins the match, and CJ Perry is all elite. Y'all don't know who CJ Perry is, aka Lana. And Miro said, nope, no deals. I'm out. Forget you, bitch. He left. He didn't forget you cheated on him with Bobby Lashley. He did not forget. He straight up gave you the cold shoulder and rolled out. She hit Hobbs with that chair, and it didn't even faze him. But your thoughts on Lana coming back? I knew it was going to happen eventually.
It's interesting. I'm curious to see how they're going to really add what she's going to add to the Miro character, because I thought Miro was actually doing fine on his own. So I'm at this point, I'm just kind of curious what Lana or CJ Perry.
I forgot Lana's her slave name. We can't call her that no more. CJ Perry.
I'll say I just don't really know what she's going to add, because we've seen them do the evil foreign bad guy gimmick before. We've seen them really go through it all before, heel, babyface together. So I'm really curious to see what she's going to do. So it's interesting, something to keep an eye on, that's for sure.
Yeah, whenever she came out, I just laughed at the fact that the crowd was chanting "beat that meat" or "slap that meat" or whatever they were chanting, and that's when she came out, and my immediate thought was, no one cares that she's here. I just want to keep seeing big meaty men slapping meat. Shout out to Big E, which they did. They said it exactly like that, and I thought that was fantastic.
I also love that when she came out, instead of going to help her husband right away, she had to pull the Jeff Hardy and start dancing on stage for a minute, and they go, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on, I should probably go help him."
And she took her shoes off up there too. We got Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho for the TBS title, and Chris Statlander wins this match, and so he retains. Any thoughts on this match?
Really interested to see what happens with the Outcasts. The whole Tony Storm hiding under the ring and helping Chris Statlander caught me off guard. So I'm really excited. I thought this was a fun match, and I think the twist with Storm helping Statlander and turning on the Outcasts, I'm excited to see where that goes. I think it's going to result in some really fun matches.
Yeah, same thing. I think this new Tony Storm, Marilyn Monroe character is going to be interesting. The Outcast kind of having a little tension from the Tony attacking Saraya's family in London, and then this and that, and now Tony turning on Ruby. So I enjoyed the match. The turn was interesting for sure.
This match was crazy for me. Ricky Starks and Daniel Bryanson. Brian Danielson. So I was about to say his slave name. And versus Ricky Stark. It was the strap match. This match was brutal. Y'all can't say the wrestling ain't fake with taking shots like that in the back. Ricky Starks, Brian was busted open. Like, this match was brutal. But it all came down. Brian Danielson beat the match, had Ricky Steamboat in the ring. This match was overall great. And Brett, I can only imagine how it was there seeing it live in person.
It was phenomenal. It was electric. This was arguably the best match of the night. I really loved the different spots they did. Them just whipping each other was brutal enough. The yes lock with the strap. Of course, for a second there, I got worried because I thought we were trying to set up Bryan Danielson versus Big Bill. I'm like, oh, this didn't go well for Big Bill when we tried that in WWE. But overall, it was brutal, and I think it was everything that you've ever wanted in a strap match. This was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for Danielson, his comeback match, and after at the press conference he talked about it that he was cleared to come back and do this type of match as his comeback match because he got cleared by the AEW medical staff and outside doctors, and he made a point of like the outside doctors, they don't care if I wrestle, they don't care if I do this or that. So whenever they said, yeah, you're good for whatever, he made the point of, okay, let's do whatever. And then he said he made the point to say that he was excited to work with Ricky Starks and that Ricky carried him through that match to avoid further injury for his arm and everything. And so yeah, I enjoyed this one for sure. And then the promo on either Collision or Rampage or whichever one it was, where he said the last time he was in a strap match, it was with someone he loved and they beat the shit out of each other, meaning Bray. And that was a cool touch to it. And then just his return, leading up to it to put him into the match, I thought it was quick, but it worked. It did its purpose. So I enjoyed this one as well.
We got Eddie Kingston and Shibata versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Did not expect this ending. Had Claudio Castagnoli and Yuta win this match. Did y'all see this match happening? I mean, did you see the outcome happening?
The ending was really quick. It actually caught me off guard. He hit the uppercut, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, whatever. He's going to kick out at 2.5. And then he got the 3. I'm like, wait, that was the end? Holy cow. It was a fun match. They had like a really, really told a great story of how Eddie Kingston was just so obsessed with Claudio, it just almost cost him the match. Oh, Nick, $5 in the swear jar, dude.
I didn't say it. I quoted it. Brian Danielson said it. Brian Danielson owes $5 in the swear jar.
We'll tweet at him later. But yeah, I thought it told a great story on how Eddie Kingston's obsession with Claudio just cost him the match. And I thought it was just an overall fun brawl. It was a fun sprint. It's a great match altogether.
Yep, same thoughts.
We had the main event. We had Kenny Omega versus Tashida, and Tashida beats Omega.
So give it to Kenny Omega. He's the EVP of the company. He could absolutely put himself over if he really wanted to, I'm sure, whatever.
When he's
yet he hasn't won in like the last 6 pay-per-views. This dude has actually been really selfless in putting over younger stars. And that's the thing with Kenny Omega. Anytime this dude steps in the ring, he's going to put on the best match of the weekend. I don't think it's any exception. I think he put on the best match of the weekend. It's really tough to argue against this match. It was a phenomenal back and forth match, and they really, really tried to make it. They really made a star out of Takeshita. It was a really, really fun match. I love Kenny Omega, and I love all of his matches just because anytime he steps into the ring, it's like a guaranteed instant classic.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. I'm not too big on the Takeshita because I don't watch the New Japan stuff, but everything. But just like the knowing what style of wrestling it was going to be, and Omega, from what I have watched, I did enjoy it. I mean, in the ring, he's great. He shows that he's a veteran in the ring, and then you see him on Being the Elite, and he's drinking Pepsi, and then says it tastes like lighter fluid to take a shot at CM Punk. So, I mean, them being the EVPs and everything, I can kind of see both sides of like, okay, Punk was right whenever he said about the children and I work with children and stuff. But when it comes to their in-ring, everything they go. And so yeah, I enjoyed the match as well.
Not going to go all in. We had Hook versus Jack Perry. Jack Perry retains. I'm sorry, Hook defeated Perry to regain the FTW championship. Then we had Samoa Joe versus Punk, and that was Punk's last match. Perry got fired. That match was good. CM Punk was all busted open. He beat Samoa Joe. You had the Golden Elite versus Jay White and Juice Robinson and Kushida. The Kushida, Robinson, and White defeated Omega and Page. That was a good match. You had the FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW tag team. FTR retains. And you had the Stadium Stampede, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta. But it looks like Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I was gonna say we missed the last two matches for All Out. The Bullet Club Gold.
Oh, that's right.
Versus the Young Bucks and FTR, versus FTR and the Young Bucks, and then John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the international championship.
Yeah, so Orange Cassidy, he lost. Yep. He finally lost.
Great run.
It was bound to happen. So Moxley did win. I know people don't really like Orange Cassidy too much, but he had a good reign. Your thoughts on Moxley winning?
I think it just makes Orange Cassidy even look like an even bigger star. Nobody could top Orange Cassidy until a two-time AEW champ comes into the building, and even he needed two Death Riders to put him away. And Orange Cassidy didn't go down without a fight. He took the Death Rider. He got busted open. He stood up after it and gave Mox the bird. Like, you made him look like an absolute badass. Oh, that's $5 in the swear jar. But not only that, and you make him look like a star, you made Orange Cassidy look like a main eventer, that he can hang with these main event guys. So, and I don't have a problem with Mox winning it. I saw a lot of people complaining that it was Mox, that it wasn't some younger star, but I think you've elevated Orange Cassidy, and whoever beats Mox for the title, or you just have a young star do that, and boom, you're still elevating young talent, and you've elevated Orange. So overall, this was the perfect main event, and it made a new main event star.
Yeah, I agree. Win-win for all scenarios, all parties involved. I enjoyed the Orange Cassidy title reign. I mean, every week defending the title, 32 defenses in like 328 days, I think it was. Perfect way to take that title and make it, almost the title, with the whole Real World Championship and Punk, and then MJF having the Triple B and this and that, whatever. Before MJF kind of wrestles more and more now, and but I mean, Orange Cassidy, I enjoyed the match. I like Orange Cassidy, and I'm excited to see where he goes after main eventing a pay-per-view. And same thing with Mox, taking the title even to higher levels, and then putting a younger talent over, and it's a win-win.
Yep. And what was the last match you said? I forgot.
That was the main event, but the co-main was the Bullet Club Gold versus FTR and the Young Bucks.
Gotcha. Because I think that's when I forgot I was watching something else, and yeah. But 3 good pay-per-views, surprisingly. Fastlane's next, so of course they got to do the build-up for that. Nothing's been announced yet for Fastlane. And what's AEW's next pay-per-view?
Wrestle Dream in Seattle.
So, we got everything in. Next week we'll probably, I guess, go over all the stuff that happened, key important things that happened on all the shows. Maybe talk about some of our best matches. We'll figure out something. But definitely had to come back because that was three pay-per-views within the matter of a week or so, back to back. We just had to get it out. So appreciate y'all that was watching over on YouTube side, Facebook side. Make sure y'all tune on back tomorrow morning. Coffee and Sports in the Morning right here on the Sports Empire Network. What's tomorrow? Wire to Wire as well is on from 7 p.m. until 9. And for the hockey fans, we got the hockey show back with two guys in hockey talk with Evan and Pavel. They are back on at 9 p.m. So hockey fans, hockey content is back. Tune in tomorrow. Jam-packed lineup over here on the Sports Empire Network for myself, Key, Brett, Nick. We're going to get on out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening and come on back next week so we can talk some more wrestling. We're going to get on out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good night.